Okay, so I'm just doing a quick little recording here, running through a draft I just did, because I think that this is a really interesting draft, and I think I did this pretty masterfully, so I just kind of want to talk about it real quick. So open up Slowgurk. I really, really like this card. I sent you a message saying that I was going to be trying to forcing some blue-green decks, because I really want to learn them pretty in depth. So open Slowgurk. It's like the best thing I could open, so super excited. So I take Slowgurk, and then pick one, pack two. Um, pack one, pick two. Sorry, words are hard. Um, I get a super interesting decision here. And so I think the clear choice automatically would just be Clear Shot. Just like the card is super powerful, super high, um, like effect whenever you play it and draw it. But I've been very unimpressed by instants and sorceries in the blue-green deck, and have found that they are just like play a million creatures. Everything you can that can mill yourself is just super, super powerful. And because of that, Castaway actually is like the sickest card in that deck. Just because, not only do you avoid the front side, which is the awkward part, but the backside actually keeps you from losing games. So I take Covetous Castaway here, I'm pretty sure this is the correct pick, but I know it looks weird. And then I didn't want to take Devious Cover Up. This just feels like too big of a move. Take Eaten Alive, most powerful removal spell here. Get a second really powerful black removal spell in a row. But then there's no black in this pack. Pick up the Farmer. Maybe we end up splashing black. Super happy to see a Bait Hook Angler. Again, like this is a really powerful 2-drop, but I think that all of the disturb effects are just super, super powerful, and we just need to get to the late game. So a body here and a body there is awesome. Tapping at the window. So I know that in the version of this deck that we had a couple days ago, where we had Storm the Festival and all of that stuff, tapping at the window is not very good. I think though that if you get enough creatures, that was one of the big things we were missing in that deck, was it just wasn't actually very dense on those creatures. That tapping in the window can be good. Plus, if you have more ways of getting cards back into your library, you can just overload on these kind of effects and make it to where whenever you do have bombs, you find them. Um, take this Amalgam in case we end up low on win conditions. And then this is our starting pack again. I was really sad to see that the Farmer didn't table. I didn't expect it to, just because it is like the best green common in the entire set. But the Sifter coming all the way around is a really good sign. I found that Sifter is just a really good card in this deck. You have a lot of cards that you're happy to have in your graveyard. You play a decent number of Disturb creatures, and just being able to do this looting is great. So pick up Sifters here. Get a tapping at the window. Tapping in the window number 2 means that we can now commit completely on this all mill all the time plan. So I am kind of excited about that. I don't think I would ever play a third tapping in the window in the deck. So it's like, it is a little awkward that we won't have like a 10th or 11th pick in pack 2 or 3 that could see play in the deck, but it is what it is. Then just finish up the pack. And then this pack, open it up. Not super excited. I'm actually pretty down on Revenge of the Drowned in this blue-green deck, just because you're not super tempo-y, unless you are like the blue-green uncommon that taps something down and puts counter on. And I found that if you end up with like that card, you actually just don't need this. Like that card is so powerful on its own. So I take the larger zombie here. That could be incorrect just because of how powerful Revenged is if you're on the play. But I take larger zombie. This pick is also interesting. Intruder again is just the quantifiably more powerful magic card, but Shadow Beast Sighting is just so important, to the self mill plan. Also, I found that these decks are pretty awkward at leaving mana up, just because you super telegraph what you have. If you have like 2 things in your graveyard with Disturb and you say go on turn 3, like, yeah, you have the Intruder. So, I end up just taking the Shadow Beast sighting here. And then this pick is super, super tense. The snap pick is you just take the blessing, but I wanted to take this diagraph horde here just because what again, and I know this sounds crazy, like tapping at the window just lets you find these super powerful cards, and if you just end up with eccentric farmers and all of this, like by taking a diagraph horde here, like I am kind of committing to being a Sultai deck, but now I'd be pretty excited about getting even just like crawl from the cellar back and something random like that. So I end up taking the diagraph horde here. I wish I could have this blessing, and I would love to have the evolving wilds, but and then the very next pack I get past another Winterhorn blessing. So this I was pretty excited about because I was a little worried that one of the people on my left could have been blue-green after getting that like third pick clear shot in pack 1. But I just go ahead and take the Winterhorn Blessing here. That's super nice. And then I just continue to box out on um, blue and green. I do take Path to the Festival here. Um, it's been fine, just like milling over it. It makes it pretty easy to splash. It is pretty close between it and Jack-o'-lantern. The hedge here is I kind of am hoping to get a second diagraph horde. With people avoiding black, I've felt like you can just randomly end up with one or two. So being able to play this thing on turn 4 is awesome. So I just take Path to the Festival. Flashback is good. Ramp is fine. The scry is fine. So I take Path. We immediately get another Jack-o'-lantern. That's super nice. Then we're just taking stuff to cut. We actually wheel the Revenge of the Drowned, which is really odd to me. And then we wheel this Winterhorn Blessing. So now our deck's looking kind of insane. We've got double Blessing. We've got like a million 2-drops. So that's sweet. And then pack 3, skillfully open a mythic, and it's a nuts mythic, and we're just gonna find a way to play it. Like this card is just way too powerful not to play. It's also just very good in this deck because the discard side of things is awesome. So super excited for this. This pack was pretty meh. So take Rejuvenator in case we have to, really break our mana in half so that we can play this Regent. But pick up a farmer. That's super awesome. Super happy about it. Devious Cover Up just in case we need to end up being that deck. Hound Tamer, high quality 3-drop. And then Creeper. Seeing this Creeper here is just like makes me so happy. We're obviously the only blue-green drafter at the table since we got to table this Winterhorn Blessing. It fixes our mana, lets us splash this Regent. That's sick. Pick up a 7th pick Scob Wrangler. So it's at this point that I think I'm the only blue drafter at the table. I don't really get any information that I get to use from that. Like we're just too late in the draft to get good information from that. It probably could have been figured out that by tabling a Revenge of the Drowned, but whatever, not a big deal. Pack 1 might have just not have enough blue opened up for people to jump into it. Whatever. So I take this Wrangler, get an 8th pick, pack 3 Creeper. This deck is looking insane. And then we just finish the draft out by picking up a few of the small little things. I actually didn't notice in the opening pack that there was a Covetous Castaway just because of how powerful the Regent is. So even if we hadn't opened this dragon, we still would have had a really good selection to pick out of the pack. So that is always nice. And then just end the pack. Get a second Jack-o'-lantern to really fix the mana base. And this deck felt super, super good after the draft. And then the deck that we ended up with, this was the deck that I had built. And so after what we had experienced last time we chit-chatted about draft, I did go with 17 lands, even though I do have the 2 jack-o'-lanterns for a little bit of card filtering. Just because like we found out that you never have enough mana because so many of your things you can cast twice. So went ahead and just dealt with the fact that some of our opening hands might be pretty boring, but rather play games of Magic than not. And we ended up splashing black for Eaten Alive, Ambush, and Diagraph Horde. Eaten Alive was the only sus one to me. This card just like pretty consistently. I just don't have enough zombies to sacrifice to it to make it insane. It was fine being able to sacrifice the Castaway, and plenty of times I did just get to a point where I could tap one of our 2 swamps and sack a jack-o'-lantern to just cast the 5 mana version of it, and that was okay. We have just a million 2s, like we've got the 2 blessings, we've got the Midnight Hunt, and then 7 creatures, and all of our creatures are very good. So that was awesome. Got some farmers. This deck had some of the most impressive games I have seen out of a deck in this format. Of course, we did go 7-1. The one game that I lost was to a Meat Hook Massacre that I just played very poorly against. So that is what it is. But I think that this is a super interesting draft log to look at, and I hope you enjoy it.